yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness.
You have a maid outfit?
Yeah, of course I have a maid outfit. You're a streamer. Where's yours?
I have a robe.
You were...
I have like a little monk robe.
I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go.
Guild is a bunch of fucking
Everything
losers, man.
that
What
you
are you
see,
doing in
something
it?
I invent.
Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know. They recruited me, bro. I'm new. I'm new to the game. They just recruited me, dude. Sorry.
But trust me, they're a bunch of fucking losers.
Yeah. I'm kind of seeing that too, bud.
I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning. You could call me academic. I'm always working. Never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison. Needs some antiseptic.
They're running. Push in, everybody, go. Someone get on their maid, please.
I put combination on him.
Handsome looking creep right there. Why? All right, test, make sure everything's on. All right, cool. Hey guys, welcome. This is the Mortal Portal podcast number 20. And I got my boy here. He's gonna go ahead and introduce himself for you guys, so you know who he is.
Yeah, what's up, guys? This is Nightmare. I'm sure some of you know of me. I'm a crazy murderer ganker in the guild content. Yeah, I've been playing MO2 since Alpha, I guess I'd say, and I played MO1 for over 10 years. So those of
Damn,
you
you
that
played
know
for
me,
10 years? Holy crap.
10, yeah, I played MO1 since I was 15 years old, I believe. Now I'm 29, so
Holy shit.
long time. But yeah, that was one of my favorite games.
So what were the main guilds you were part? You were probably in multiple guilds during that time in MO1, obviously. So like, what were your main guilds that you were a part of?
So I actually played MO1 at launch too. And when it first came out, when MO1 actually launched, it came out of alpha and beta because they did a really good job with their, like, they did blocks, right? Like alpha block A, alpha block B, and then into beta, kind of like they did with MO2. So when the game actually launched, I joined a guild that lived in Meduli at the Meduli Keep called 13. They were called 13.
Okay.
And I remember I was there for the first ever siege on the server. They sieged some rat thief guild right outside of Meduli that built a house. They blew their house up. So that was the first siege ever in Mortal, and I was there. I still have a video of it to this day to go back and look at. So that was my first guild. Other than that, you could name it, I was probably in a guild.
Okay. What was your favorite guild to be in? Then how about that?
favorite guild to be in, I mean, there's different things. Favorite people, then favorite guild. My favorite guild to be in was definitely RPK at the end because they owned 4 keeps. They had all like Ogmium, the best gear. They all knew how to fight. So it was a win-win scenario. We'd go out outnumbered or whatever, and we'd go siege. It was all the content that you wanted. So that was my favorite guild was RPK at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Aku. Well, okay, maybe I don't know how to describe my relationship with Aku. I think he's always been a good guy with me. I don't necessarily condone everything he says or does. And I know they're a very prominent guild in MO1, but like every time I fight them in MO2, like I don't know who I'm fighting from RPK that was probably good in, if they were good in MO1 or not. But they're bad, man. I did a 1v3 against RPK the other day, like literally like yesterday, actually, I think, or maybe the day before. Like, and I'm not good. If I can 1v3, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's probably an issue there. I don't know.
Yeah. So now that goes back to it too. That's why I said at the end I joined RPK because RPK was a big guild all throughout Mortal, right? They had a coup, this guy Hayasa, they had all these guys. Never played with them when those guys were in the clan, and it was like the perfect clan. I played at the end when they broke apart. There was a civil war, lots of drama over this girl. This in-game girl started a war, so the guild broke into two. It turned into RPK versus Exiled, and the guys who owned the keep wouldn't give it up or wouldn't sell it. So it became this huge civil war. So I ended up joining the other side of it, this guild called Exile that had this guy called Orin in it. It had a bunch of people, and it was a giant civil war, and that was the most fun I had out of the 10 years.
Yeah, didn't they, I remember I had a conversation with the coup like on stream about this. Like the Exile Guild built like a stronghold or like something out right in front of the castle, and then it was just like everyone spammed their own guards, and it was
Dude, it
like
was
you
nuts.
guys,
It was
yeah,
absolutely nuts. So it was RPK, it was Hayasa, Aku, and it all happened over this girl named Queen because Aku fell in love with her or some crazy fucking nerdy shit happened, right? And it broke the whole guild apart. So RPK, like Hayasa, Queen, Aku, all those guys kept the keep, and then Exiled, who had some of the richest people in the game, were like, "Yo, fuck you, we're gonna siege you." So they built another basically a mini keep right across the way from the main keep, and every single night it was a war, like a 40 versus 40 siege war with guards like insta killing people and like necromancy. It was nuts.
that's funny. The funny part about it is, or well, it's not, I don't know if it's funny, but it's just like interesting. Like the Exile Guild was essentially sieging their own castle. Like they, like as far as I knew, like the exiled people were like the empire builder crew of what was the RPK before. So they were probably the ones who put like most or all of the work into like building the defenses and stuff of like the castle, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, you're completely right. So it's like, dude, we built this. We know where the fucking weak spots in this are. Like we're the ones that built it. So
And
we
you
could have
guys
blown our own shit up.
eventually, you did eventually siege it too, correct? Like as exiled.
Yes, yeah. So what happened is it turned into a huge thing. It turned from just this little civil war into Exiled allying up with some other guilds, and then RPK allied up with some other guilds. And every night, everyone would just show up, and it turned into like a 40 versus 40 battle where Exile would blow up a house or two and some guard posts, and then it would die down because it went on for like 3 hours. And the next day, that shit was just rebuilt. So this happened for like I want to say like a month, maybe 2 months for a while until we finally got a strong enough push. And I don't know if it was, I feel like they still put up a fight, but we just blew it up. We blew the keep up and blew everything up. And that was pretty much the end of MO1. There was like no fights after that. Everyone quit because that was the
Oh,
remainder of the
that was
fighting
end
phase.
game. That was end game. I mean, RPK was like the biggest and like the best guild at that time, right? Like there wasn't really anyone playing much, right, at that point.
Yeah, like no one could contest them. There was a few guilds like New World Order who owned like the whole jungle. There were some other like smaller guilds. There was a guild near Kranesh called Men. There are a few smaller guilds, but nothing compared to RPK. They owned like 3 or 4 different keeps they had in different separate guilds that they owned. So they owned half the map.
Mm,
They had like all of the Tephra and GK walled off so nobody could get the stuff up there. It was yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I hate to say it, but kind of looks like that's kind of maybe where MO2 is going a bit. Like, I mean,
I
like if
hope
you look
not,
at,
but it could be.
are you in the Kodo Discord by chance or no?
I might be, but I don't think I have access to like any of their stuff.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't see like any channels. I just see like the welcome lobby, like the public chat. Like every single day, there's like 5 to 10 people trying to join their guild, and I don't know where these people come from, but they like post like their name and like their time zone or whatever, and they want to join. And I mean, that's just kind of where it's going, right? Like Kodo, I don't know like their active numbers or anything, but if you're getting like 5 to 10 people joining every day, and you constantly have like events running, like they got to be running like super fucking heavy right now. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, as it comes down to it, like right now, I'm sure you saw that video where it was content levy. Like 25 of us killed like 60 Kodo and we beat them. Like that's
yeah,
okay when it's in Nevada jungle, but when you're doing TC and they show up with 100 guys and there's a server queue, they're gonna pretty much wipe everything out. As hard, as bad as that is to say, it's 100% true. People aren't gonna be able to fight that. So
yeah, I can imagine their alliance is going to bring, even like with what they have right now, they could probably pull like an easy like 300 people to like an actual siege if there was like sieging in the game right now. Like right now, they call people for PvP, and that's like, people don't really care. Like if they win or lose, like it doesn't mean anything. But when it comes time to sieging, they could probably get a lot more on than they do now. You know what I mean? Because it means more. So
yeah, like
yeah,
their whole alliance do a call to arms and just make it a plan for like this day at this time and then get everybody in there, and the other people they have no idea, obviously. And all of a sudden they have 100 Kodo outside and they got to try and get their guys on and to the keep. It's going to be rough.
yeah, it's like it's just gonna be a steamroll. I feel like. I mean, even like, I mean, because like if they can like make the siege go faster by just dropping more man cannons, then that's what they're gonna do, right? And if they have like 10 to 20 man cannons, like I don't know, the sieges might be extremely quick. I don't know how like Henrik is gonna avoid doing that, because he said that he wants to avoid like ninja sieges from happening, like how they were in MO1, but like if you don't put like a limit or something to how much damage like a building could take per second or per minute or whatever it is, then I don't know how you really get around that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there
Like,
has to be there has to be something like some kind of anti-Zerg mechanic. Like they have to think of something clever where that can't happen. Because in MO1, it was like that too. But it was so it took a while, like, to build a man cannon. You had to buy the deed from somebody's keep. You had to bring it there. You had to have an engineer to build it. It took resources, and it did not have a lot of health. So if the defenders had a bunch of archers, they could actually bow it down and destroy the man cannon. So even if they
okay.
put three up, if you start, it takes a lot of boulders, which it was like a whole logistics line. It wasn't just plop this thing down and start shooting boulders to blow the keep up. They had to run Mulva beasts, which were these big rhinos that carried a shit ton of weight. They had to run those filled with boulders all the way to wherever they were sieging. So there was a whole logistics line. So it was
Mhm.
okay. It's one thing if you've got 100 dudes there sieging, and then you can't stop them. It's pretty screwed. But anything less, and it's doable. Like even if you get 20 guys defending and they're just shooting the catapults down, you can't heal the catapult. I'm pretty sure you can't repair it or anything. So once it's broken, it's done. And that's like 400 gold. So, I mean, there's some elements at play, but I still don't think that's going to help, if you're getting sieged by 100 guys.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is too is like even if like the thing is like it's always gonna be Zerg friendly because like even if you only need like 20 guys to defend against 100, let's say like that's the normal ratio you need. Like if they have 100 people, chances are they're gonna have like a lot of people. Even if you have the same prime time, like let's say both guilds are NA, if they have 100 people in NA, they're gonna have a lot more people in your off hours. So like ninja sieging is still gonna happen, even if you're both NA guilds. They're gonna have a lot more people that can make the sacrifice to stay up like 8 extra hours to like ninja siege you, and when like both your prime times are NA and they're gonna siege you in like EU time, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
Exactly.
how do they really? I don't know how without like restricting like the sandbox element of the game, like how like it's gonna be hard. Like I don't have a solution for them
Yeah, right.
that
Because, like,
sounds good.
you look at how other games do it, and you're like, okay, it's a sandbox, so you can't really have, I mean, you could do like the time thing where it's like, okay, you declared a siege on this castle. You have to wait tomorrow at 5 o'clock is when it starts, but that takes
Yeah,
away from the whole sandbox element.
yeah, for sure. But then like if they don't, then that's when you kind of get into like it's like okay, it's all about numbers then, right?
Yeah, I mean that happened. There was one siege that happened. It was one guild siege this other guild like on fucking Christmas Day. And it was like, dude, we can't. We're with our families. We can't get on to do it. And it's like they only had like 40 guys, but like no one could come defend. So it's like it was so screwed.
Wasn't that
Like everyone,
RPK?
it might have been. It might have been the early stage of RPK, though
I think it
before I
was.
joined. But
I think they were notorious for like every Christmas they would siege someone. Like they did it
stop.
just by chance on like the first time he said, I think, and then like it became like such a thing in the community that he was just like, let's just do this every Christmas. And then like every Christmas or Christmas Eve, they would siege someone, and they knew like nobody could like really come to defend, and it just became like
God,
like a
it's just so
meme type
scummy,
thing.
though. I know it's just so scummy. Like I'm one of those guys where it's like I don't like losing. I love to win, but I'm
Mhm.
not gonna go to those extreme depths to do shit like that. Like,
Well,
know.
in their defense, if they don't like have families or even celebrate Christmas, like they're not. It's just
True.
like another day for them, right?
True, very
So
true.
that could be very well what it started as, but I think if I remember right, Aku did say like he started doing it on purpose because it just pissed so many people off that he just thought it was hilarious, sort of deal.
Damn, sounds
I
about
could
right.
be misquoting him here, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was getting at. To be honest, I think healing a crim player should crim the healer. It just makes sense. Otherwise, stopping two healers from simming a single gray crim to keep them trolling alive. So I talked to Robmo recently, and he confirmed that in the next patch, when normally how it is now, if you have crim actions off and you're a healer and you accidentally heal like a criminal, like and you're trying to heal like your blue teammate, you would normally flag up, and then you kind of get fucked if you're like hugging the guard zone or something. So Robmo said that in the next patch, if you have crim actions off, you're not going to be able to heal criminals, so it won't flag you gray. So I thought that was a good change because like it was kind of weird that you could cast on someone who was a criminal with crim actions off and go crim, but you could never swing on them or even shoot them with a bow. It didn't really translate all the way across like the spectrum there. So I guess they're going the full length, and now like you won't be able to heal people or anything if your crim actions are off to a criminal.
It's good to
So
know.
yeah. So yeah, no, you can't like heal a criminal and then you heal them and don't go gray. Like you just nothing happens. It's like if you swing on them the same way. So that's what Hedge was talking about in chat. So I was just responding to that. Another thing Robmo said that they were going to add next patch, I don't know if it's been announced anywhere, is that Toxi rep is going to be Curite rep now for the parcels and not a Nom Sith.
Oh shit, was it Nom Sith?
Yeah, it was a Nom Sith. It was completely fucking
God.
useless.
Oh
So
my, that is so useless.
all the guards are Curite. So you could go negative a Nom Sith and Toxi, and it meant absolutely nothing. Because all the guards
Yeah,
are
you go
Curite.
into every other town. You just massacre people. Yeah, and the guards were half buggy there too.
Yeah. So
That
that's a
that
good
happened
change.
in that happened in beta, back in beta for MO2. Me and I had like this little rat squad before we were a part of like any guild, and it was like 4 of us. We would just massacre people at Meduli like nonstop because when they respawned in Meduli town, it was related to Sarduka rep. So like we had minus 200 Sarduka rep, but it was a Tendremic town and all the guards were Tendremic. So we could just walk
Yeah.
around freely in Meduli until one of us told, I think it was me, ended up telling Discord, and he was like, wait, what the fuck? And then they looked into it and it changed immediately. But, they didn't know about that, so.
Yeah, because in MO1, they didn't have it where if guards aggroed you, you lost rep. That wasn't a thing. Guards would kill
No.
you, but you wouldn't lose rep.
No,
'Cause
there
you
was
were
no
crim.
rep system. Yeah, there's no rep system. You were either gray, murder counts, and a murderer, and that was it. And it was harsher because there was stat loss.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, in my opinion, well, maybe between like Fab Mafia / content and like Miscreants, I think you guys had like the biggest impact on them adding the aggro from the guards. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys would like be in towns a lot killing people, so people were just like frustrated with their horses dying or whatever it was, whatever like the biggest push for it was, like that's what got the aggro from guards making you lose rep. I think probably more Miscreants, I think, but I don't know. It's hard to say. They didn't
Yeah.
actually say, but
I mean, they also did a good job too with this newest patch. Now you're going to be able to, like how it was in MO1. If you see a murderer or you see a gray person, you can look at them, and once they're targeted, type in /guard, and that guard will run towards them and fight them. Because there's a lot of guards bugged out in cities, right? Like Toxi or even Fabrinum, you could push into the front gates and kill people. So now they're able to, that's a way of them fixing that, I guess. Hopefully.
I'm really scared, by the way, about that. Dude, I can't imagine that not being so buggy and broken.
I know. I
Like,
know. There's gonna be
okay,
something.
first of all, what's gonna happen to the guard once he kills the guy? Where does this guard go? Does he just despawn? I feel like we're gonna have like literally guards littered everywhere because the guards are just gonna end up just standing there. Like, what's
Yeah,
gonna
and there's
happen
probably
after the
some
guy
way to
dies?
exploit it too. Yeah, there's probably some way too where it's like, yeah, like it has to have a leash range, right? Like this guy is gray, and you type in slash guard, and it chases him, and then maybe it stops. What happens if you run up to the guard and then tell it to attack him again? Is there
You
going to
could
be a
leash
guard
them
that just
out.
gets
Yes.
pulled fucking to like the minnow cave, and it's like in the minnow cave
Oh
killing the
no.
minotaurs? Like that's what I'm saying. There needs to be some kind of
Oh,
leash range,
I
but I
didn't
don't
even
want to see him
think
just
about that.
disappear. I don't want to see him just poof, they're gone like the lictors. I hate that shit with the lictors where it's like he just appears and it's oh shit, 180 damage, I'm dead. Like, I like them being there, like in town, going out, and then maybe returning back to town. Something like that.
Well, that could get abused too by the criminals. So if you have your buddy flag up, you call guard him, the guard runs away. Well, now there's no guard there. Their other buddies run up and murder people at bank or something.
True, but that's realistic, right? That's more sandboxy. Like this guard's like, I'm going to
Yeah,
get this
but
murderer, and then other guys sneak around him, could go in town and start killing people. Like, I like the aspect of that. Like, even though
well,
it's bad for
I feel
newer
like that's
players.
super counterproductive to what they're trying to
I
accomplish.
know it is. It really
That would
is.
get abused so fucking hard,
I
dude.
know
So
it would.
hard.
Pull the guards out and murder the whole town.
Yeah, that's all that would happen. And that would also be Zerg friendly because in a Zerg you have more bodies to spare to do stuff
Very
like that.
true.
So,
Yeah, very true.
I don't know if Zergs would typically do that, like, but it could be a thing. Wait, if you're 5+ MC but not crim, guards will attack you. No. So guards only attack you if you're criminal. So like once you hit someone who's a blue and you go crim, you have like 4 minutes of gray, crim timer. But if you're 5+ MC, all that means is you can't spawn at a blue priest or a safe like town priest. You have to go spawn at a red priest somewhere, or get a resurrect from a mage. Heart you, Nightmare. You got a fan in here, man.
Oh, I got a fan. What's up, Ennio Tononi? How you doing? I probably butchered that name. What's up, though?
That sounds Italian as fuck, man.
It does sound Italian.
So
I like
what was the thing
Italians.
that you wanted to talk about? The macros. You want to get into
I
that?
wanted to talk about macroing. Yeah, like just how fucking crazy and rampant it is, and like no one really gets it. Like how easy it is to do, and I don't know. Like I don't know if there's any way for them to stop it. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to say what program, but there's an easy program that comes with most, I guess, graphics cards or mice that you can just download, and you can alt tab to it, right? You alt tab to it and you click record, tab back into your game, start fucking doing crazy feints, right? Like my feint key is Q or whatever, so I can look right, charge a swing right, hit Q to feint it, charge another swing, feint it into an overhead. People can record that, go back to that program, delete the alt tabbing so it's just that input, and then they can edit in the timing. So it's like you do a quick feint left, quick feint right, and then a half charge overhead. Okay, and all you have to do is you can put that to one of your buttons. So if you had like a Razer Naga mouse that has like 50 buttons on the side, you can have like 20 of those set up where you just click that and look around, and it auto does it, and no one's
Mhm.
gonna be able to tell. So like that's such a rampant thing, and I've seen people saying like, oh, you do think this guy macros? And people are like, there's not that many macroers. When in reality, it's really easy to do, and it's very hard to spot. So it's just, I don't know. I hope they do something to fix that, but I doubt it. Like because you can't ban that program because it's like a mouse and a keyboard thing. You can't ban that, so I just don't think there's any way they can fix it. But it really sucks.
Yeah, that would be like all they would be detecting is like your mouse because that program has to run for your mouse. So there would be like they would have to ban whole brands or something at that point. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like, I hate it because like I try really hard with the normal feinting and I think I'm good at it, but then I fight guys who do like they'll run at me. It's very certain people, right? It's not everybody. Like if someone's just standing in front of me doing a feints and stuff, I can tell. But then there's very few people I'll be fighting. They'll run and jump and do like a triple feint midair and then land and hit it. And I'm like, I know, dude. I know you all you did was hold down W shift, you ran at me and you jumped and clicked one button and it did that, and it's extremely hard to read.
Mhm.
So I don't know what they're gonna do about that, but that's just a big thing. I mean, it's not as bad as hacking. Obviously, all these fucking assholes running through the Seder dungeon, speed hacking, getting the books worth 5k gold and RMTing it. But it is kind of annoying, for like elitists in PvP.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, because you're putting in the work, you're putting in the effort to like get better, and all they're doing is clicking a button. Like
Yeah, that's
that's
yeah.
essentially what it is. So it's like having like a cheat menu, on your mouse. Essentially, is what it is.
Exactly, pretty much. Yeah, that's like undetected. It just I don't know. I frown upon it just because I feel like you should do that on your own. Like anyone can do it if you bind your keys right. Anybody can feint, like turn your sensitivity up and look left, feint into a quick right swing. But when you get the people that have it on one click and they jump and start doing it, it's just so hard to read and it's pretty unfair.
No, yeah, definitely. It's almost like you have to have like certain hardware to even be competitive with those people, and then you have to do what they're doing essentially just to you know make it fair essentially. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
tough.
I look at it. I look at it like it might, like if I'm dueling a guy doing that, it might make me better, being able to try and read those feints. But then what happens when that person does that to a new player, or they do it in PvP and someone has no idea? Like it's just not as fair. Like in a duel, for me to read that is different than them going and using it in group fights and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, like, I agree with you. I think that should definitely not be a thing. I just don't know how they would ever manage it. Is the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of was they had some kind of like reader that would read like, okay, this guy did this crazy fucking attack down to the second 3 times in a row. Cause that's what it is. It's the same thing over and over to the millisecond. Okay. And if they're not doing it, it always changes, right? Like if I'm fainting, my shit is almost never the same. But when they click that button and do it, it's just reading, it's just reading the exact second. So, I mean, they
Yeah,
could put something in, but that would just take away other stuff that would probably take too much time or money.
I remember. Do you remember Lyrics? He was in Mirror Vikings and stuff.
I mean, it sounds familiar.
He was like a
It sounds
French Canadian streamer.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I remember that
Yeah,
guy. Yeah.
he in beta. I haven't seen him in a while now that I think about it,
Dude, I
but
haven't seen that guy in a minute.
yeah, he used to stream like every fucking day. He was in my guild at one point. He was in Kodo, and then he joined Mirror Vikings, and then I'm not sure where if he joined another guild after that, but he actually was talking about that a lot on stream one day. He was showing people how to do it. He told me how to do it. And yeah, I just don't think there's a way to like actually police it. Because like I mean, I guess you could show video evidence, but how would they actually like 100% like prove
That's
it?
what I'm saying. Yeah, like unless they had a reader in game that like saw like or like because an admin couldn't do anything. Like if it's like, hey, GM Discord, come watch this guy. He doesn't fucking know. They would have to be a
Yeah.
reader that says, okay, this guy did this attack 0.2 seconds, over and over. Like that's you can't do that. Like I mean, you could try, but that's super hard to do. Like
Hmm.
and the computer just reads it off of whatever program, so it's a lot easier that way. But I don't think I just wanted it's out there and it's rampant. A lot of people know how to do it. So
What kind of macro is this? He's talking about like, for example, with Logitech, there's a Logitech Hub app on the computer that comes with it. So like when like you can what he was saying is you can alt tab to this program, you can record all of your mouse clicks and like keyboard clicks, so you could do like left swing, whatever your feint key is, Q for example, and then like overhead attack, and then you stop the recording and you can take out the alt tab of that recording, and now you have like this perfect feint that you can just click one button and it does it every single time. So that's what he's talking about. Yeah, he was talking about combat macros, like to do like spin moves or like feint attacks. I mean, you could do like a whole like thing where like you like go to left swing, hit spacebar to jump, feint, like do a spin. You can do all sorts of crazy shit with that. So yeah, I mean, I don't
I
think
mean,
people like add jumps and everything into it, but you could
there
technically do it.
there was a crazy in MO1. There was a crazy some dude who was like a straight up fucking like software developer or something. Made this bot. He made a bot for this game that was pixel. It was I don't know how he did it. He was a genius, but it was like pixel related, where like he could send his dude out of Meduli and go mine these he had a route. His bot, it would log into his account and it would go to all of these mining spots and mine up and then come back and bank it and do it over and over again. So he'd be at work, dude, and he'd come home and just have a bank of Sabura, like just mined up. It was the craziest shit like I had ever heard of. I mean, surely you
That's
could
fucking
kill him and
crazy.
take his stuff, but like if he never got killed, he just had mass amounts of metal, you know?
That's fucking nutty, man. Holy
At least
shit.
we don't have that here. Yeah, that was pretty bad for MO1.
Did he get caught, or how did he get caught?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. MO1 got to a point later in the game where like they did not give a fuck if people were RMTing. Like you'd have people in the official Discord like, "Yo, I'm selling a stack of Ogmium 40 bucks." And then never got in
Yeah.
trouble. So it's just like no one cared. Early game they were banning for that, but when the population got down to so little, they didn't care at all about RMT, which is, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just so many problems with him, like lists of problems that just never got fixed, or it took
I know, but
so long to get fixed that like people even forgot it was a problem. They just got used to it after a certain point.
it was such a good game. Like it had so many great elements to it. But then it was like someone would like I tried to get my friends to play it and they like they didn't even watch a video. They installed it, got into the game, and they're like, "What the fuck is this dog shit RuneScape graphic game I'm playing?" And then they uninstalled it. I'm like, bro, it's about the
Oh my god,
gameplay. It's not about what it looks like. They're like, fuck that.
dude.
I'm going back to Call of Duty.
I had that like happen on like 5 or 6 different occasions with different people where I was just like, dude, come play this fucking game. Like, I'm out here like fucking killing cougars, like butchering them, selling them buy orders and shit. Like, then you go out like town and like fucking get 5v5 PvP organically. And I'd be like, oh man, that sounds great. Like, show me a video. I'd show them a video. Like, dude, this looks like fucking dog shit. Like, I'm not playing this. I'm like, just fucking try it, dude. Give it a chance. Like, it was so hard to get people into fucking MO1, dude. So hard.
Yeah, it was. Which sucked because it had so many elements, like the necromancy and everything. Like, if what they're trying to do in MO2, which is great, it had so much stuff, but no one wanted to play it because the graphics were 12 years old. Like,
Yeah.
I remember them doing an Unreal update or some shit from it, and like it was like this huge thing, and I'm like, but it didn't change anything. It still looks like dog shit. Like after this huge
Yeah.
update, so at least they're trying to do it all in MO2.
Hedgemon asked earlier, sorry I missed it. With TC, can you blacklist players from town? I don't know. I think Henrik has said they might not do blacklisting in MO2. I think is what I might have heard. But in MO1, yes, you had like if your guild controlled the town with territory control towers, like your radius of your guild went covered the town and you owned it, there was like a list that you could add players to and blacklist the players, and what that did was like guards would KOS them as soon as they saw them, as if they were a criminal. Is essentially what it was. So I don't know if they're going to bring that to MO2. I think they should, because it adds like a sandbox element. Like if you're like a fucking a douche noozle and people know it, like, and you don't control that town, and like you're in like an enemy guild's town, like they should have the option to like disallow you from that town, in my opinion.
True, I agree too, but at the same time, I feel like they should make it because in MO1 it was just like, hey, say Kodo owns Meduli, and you're some dude in Meduli selling steel swords cheaper than them. It's like, okay, now you're blacklisted. Get fucked, buddy. Like now, like all of your shit is locked. Like this dude's just trying to make a buck, and Kodo's like,
Yeah.
dude, fuck you, or whatever guild. Maybe it's not Kodo, but now that dude might have like 10,000 gold, a bunch of steel. It's locked in Meduli. He can't go
Well,
where the guards kill him. So I think they need to do that, the blacklisting, but it can only be for like murderers, or there's got to be a way to not
what if
screw people like that.
What if they like if when you got blacklisted, you got like a notification or like mail that says you have 24 hours to move your stuff out? You know what I mean? Like, so this way they have like a chance to get their shit out without just like getting grief. Like because I don't know if there was like an actual like ramp up time. Like when you war deck someone now, you have like what I think like 30 minutes or 3 hours to like before it starts, right? So like in the same way for the blacklist, like you should have some time before like the guards just insta KOS you. Because if you weren't Kodo, but let's say you were some griefer guild who owned a town, and like you see this guy and he's in like full Panzer, you're like, oh, I want that shit, blacklist, and then guards just snipe him and you just loot it. You know what I mean? Like obviously that can't be a thing because that would be really bad for the game. Like people would just fucking quit like that. Like that would just piss somebody off, right? But if they were given like 24 hours or something, that kind of is like a little bit Care Bear in my opinion. But like you could do that, and I think that would be legitimate.
Yeah, I mean that kind of links to how housing was in MO1, which I really hated. If you blew someone's house up, like if I brought a catapult and I siege somebody's house, I get nothing from it. It drops like their chest outside, and that person has 24 hours to come collect their belongings. So I would blow this house up. And it's not like Rust or one of these other games where it's like I knew this guy had a bunch of steel, I could grab it. I had to
Mhm.
wait. I had to wait that out, and then if someone beat me to it, they could just walk up and loot it. So that was one thing that kind of sucked.
Like, I see it from both sides. On one hand, personally, I don't think there should be a timer. But on the other hand, this kind of goes back to like what we were talking about earlier with like the sieging mechanics. If you don't have that 24-hour timer, it is almost Zerg friendly because again, even if you're fighting some NA guild, they have 100 players, you have 20 active players, they're going to have more people in the off hours, they're going to siege you in your off hours, and okay, I just lost 3 steel sets, I didn't even get to defend my house type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true. It's hard.
you
It's
just
so
have to
hard
find like a
balance shit like
balance.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to balance that. Like to think about it, it's just the Zerg. Like how did Albion do it? Albion had like Zerg debuffs or buffs or something like that for like
Yeah,
fighting, but
if you got healed by like too many people, like the heals did way less healing and stuff like that in Albion. Also like there was like a mini map which we don't have, but like if there was like a lot of players together, they would show up on the map as like a
the
blob, and the
blob,
blobs would
yeah,
get bigger depending on how big your group was. So there was like elements in Albion that were like anti-Zerg mechanics and stuff, but I don't know how that would translate to MO too, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess the healing mechanic could be a thing. Like if you're getting healed by more than 2 mages or 2 sources, I guess, then you take reduced healing or something. That could be a
yeah.
thing.
Well, like somebody just said, life is feudal style. Judgment Hour is the best solution. So, like, I played this game called Mountain Blade Warband for like I want to say like 10 years. While I played MO2 those or MO1, those were my 2 games. And in that game,
Mhm.
they had a whole map where like guilds could conquer like towns and castles and stuff, and another guild could siege that. So, say my guild came up to siege it at that time that I clicked siege, say it was 7 at night, it would give me a whole day. The siege would be the next day at 7 at night, and depending how big the town was, we could have up to 100 defenders and 100 attackers. Something like that
Mhm.
would be cool. It just breaks the immersion in the sandbox, but it was
Yeah,
very
like the
fair.
freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was very fair because like I remember doing that and I owned a mercenary guild. So some guild paid us a shit ton of gold for me and like 8 of my guys to come defend their castle, and we did. We came and defended it and we top fragged. There was like a leaderboard. We all had like over 100 kills. Like we did amazing, and it almost changed the whole tide of the battle. So I mean, it was really cool, but less
Yeah,
immersive.
and we have to be careful too because like even though we're like what 2-3 months into launch now, we have to be very careful because like what we consider a Zerg now in other games is like not a Zerg. Like what was it like? OO and Last Oasis
Oh
had like
God,
5,000
yes.
players in their
Yep.
guild, and they owned like an insane amount of tiles, and then they had alliances on top of that with other Zerg groups. So it's like maybe we have like maybe like these groups are just actually just waiting for TC and Siege to before they even touch the game, and as soon as they touch the game, if they bring even 1,000 players in one guild, like they'll have steel in hours. You know what I mean? Like if
Yep.
they really
Yep.
want it, they know how to do it. If someone tells them like this, you do this, this, and this, and you'll have steel. They could do it in hours. With that many people, they'll whatever town they live in, they now own it. Like period. Even if it's fucking Meduli, if they bring 1,000 players in Meduli, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but Kodo, you're done. Like that's just it. Like they will
Yeah.
grief the shit out of you. Like
What's the guild? Oh, CSTG. Yeah. Like if they
yeah,
came by,
the
CSTG,
Chinese,
if
yeah.
they came by and they're like, dude, fuck it. We're gonna buy 100 subs for our guys, and they get 100 guys in Meduli, farming, and then they get the steal, it's gonna be bad news. But that's saying that the server can even handle that. So
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like I think they would still inevitably win because they'll lock up the queue, so your own guild can't even get in. Right?
exactly.
So it's like
Exactly.
you're not even be able to log in and defend your shit. And it's all node based. We know this because like even earlier today, people were talking about how Meduli was like a fucking shit show for lag. I was an MK, I was perfectly fine. I was watching help chat. I'm like, I don't feel shit. This is great over here. Like, so I
That's
don't
how
know.
it is, yeah. Like
We
I'll
just have to
go
be
duel.
careful with the Zerg friendly mechanics because we don't even know what the game could potentially be once we have sieging and TC, like what kind of groups we could see. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
that's just my point on it.
100%. But I feel that I think they're trying to fix that. Like I've been dueling like in Fab and Meduli, and it's just like, holy crap! Like the FPS and the server lag is just brutal. And then I'll go ganking, and it's just like I get 90 FPS, and it's fine when I fight. So
Yeah, Hedgemon says, what will happen is the largest and most active guild will control the castles. If you only have 20 active people, you shouldn't hold a castle over a guild with 100 active players. No, I don't disagree with that at all. Like, for instance, like we have like 20 to 30 active members now in Acolytes. It's like, if we lose our castle, like I'm not gonna quit the game. Like, it's part of the game. Like, they'll siege it this day, maybe like this time next year I siege it back. When they're less active, like whatever. Like it's part of the game. Like the bigger guild is always gonna win, but at the same time, like even if there are Zerg friendly mechanics, like let's say there's like a siege window, or a castle can only take damage X amount of like X amount of damage per minute. Like the Zerg still has so many advantages just based on numbers that like the smaller guild won't be able to like they should still lose essentially, even with like these like I don't know what do you call like speed bumps for the Zerg. Like they could still easily win in my opinion. It's just something to help not make the game seem like if I'm not in a Zerg I'm playing wrong type thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't like that. See, I don't like that. I don't like the join or die mentality of that, where it's like, okay, like we feel so safe if we join this big guild in Meduli, right? And we've got this many, people we can go sieging and we're defensible. Like I don't, I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, in MO1 1520 was considered a Zerg. Now it's 5060. Yeah, I mean, probably true. I mean, MO1 was like on a decline for a while, and then I think it like stagnated at like 1,000 people players for like a long time, or maybe less even. I don't know
Yeah, I mean
exact numbers, but
it started good, right? And it's the same lifespan as other games, but like you had those hardcore players, but it would start good and then it would drop off because no content patches, and then they do a big expansion. Like 6 months down the road they were working on like the hunger system and a bunch of stuff they didn't have. A lot of people would flood back in and then nothing for another 6 months to a year, and it just continually would be like that until they pulled the Tassos from Darkfall, and it was like they didn't say anything for 6 months at all, and then they just dropped this huge patch and people came back. So like, they're doing really good now because now Henrik's screaming and he talks, but they totally did that in MO1. Like nothing, not one word from anybody for like months, and you're like, what the fuck? And then out of nowhere, like, hey, in 2 weeks we're launching this, and we're like, dude, what? Like we had no idea. We had no idea what you were doing. Like everyone unsubbed.
yeah. Someone said, "What is that Niz Tup banner?" It's Putson. It's just backwards. That's all.
Niz,
Niz Tup.
that's funny.
I mean, because so I played when Sarduka was released, but I didn't actually ever go there because it like held no interest in my mind to go there. Did you go to Sarduka? Can you tell us like a bit about it? Like, kind of how was it? How was it different from Maryland, in your
Okay, so
opinion?
Sarduka, when it first came out, it was really funny. Actually, when it first came out, they thought it was a great idea that the players had to actually build the bridge to
Yeah.
Sarduka. So all of these noobs are like, "Yeah, let's build the bridge to Sarduka," and they all run from Meduli over there, like 50 of them. And RPK just rolls up and kills all of them for like 2 days straight. They couldn't even they couldn't even build the bridge because they're just getting massacred. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And then finally they build the bridge, and now it's like, oh shit, there's heat damage. You can't wear steel armor over there. Like you have to wear like cloth armor and leather because you take heat damage that drains your stam, and if it's high enough, it'll kill you. So
Mm,
people figure that out. Then we finally got over there and we found out the continent was massive. It was almost as big as Mirland, but literally half of it was just desert. So it was just
mm,
massive oasis. Like you'd see a mile of just desert. You didn't even see anything else around, no towns, nothing. And you just keep riding through this huge desert. Then you'd run into these bug creatures. There was lots of bugs. Sarduka was known for all these bug creatures. They were called acreps. There's a bunch of different types, but they're giant bug creatures. So, and they're very profitable. So people would go over there and farm these bugs and like make like over 100 gold in like a half an hour, like really fast. And then there were
mm.
cities. There were cities. There was only a few cities. It was like 4 cities: Beth, Jeddah. I forget the rest of the names, and they were just scattered. There were a few dungeons. It was just like Mirland, just with shitty heat damage. But
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, Kranich. He said, "Who is Nightmare Guild? It's for siege." I think he wants to siege you. I don't know why. He's in the content guild though.
I'm in
He's from
content,
content.
Kranich.
Yeah, I don't know
Yo,
what
what's
he's
up,
talking about.
Bomex? Dude, I know Bonex. I know Bomex from MO1.
Yeah, Bomex
Yep,
is he's a huge veteran. Yeah, a Kranash stray dog. He's good.
yep.
Were you
Sounds
in
about right.
Were you in that? What was the guild that owned like Cran for a while? Was it it was Men, or was it something
There was a
else?
there was a bunch. There was a bunch of guilds that owned Kranesh and MO1. There was one called Envy. I was in that guild called Envy with Saladin, Banthor, a bunch of old players. There was Men, John Paul K. Sneeze and a bunch of other guys were in men. They own Kranesh at the end of the game. But there are a lot of different guilds throughout the whole MO1 owned Kranesh.
Okay. Why did 7? Was there like a guild named like 7 or something that owned? Not like
I think so. There's
not the 7 we have now, but a
7L,
different 7.
7L, I
Oh,
think.
7 Legion or whatever it was. Yeah.
There was
I think
7L that owned it. Men, Envy. There was a lot of different guilds that owned
Oh,
it.
I
At
think
the
I'm thinking
end,
of Envy. I'm thinking of Envy. Envy had like a lot of TC assets and stuff around Kranesh at one point. I think is what I'm thinking
yeah,
of.
I think so. Yeah. So there were even
Gotcha.
guards at Kranesh.
Fuck. What was I gonna say? Oh, did you fucking hear about the that we technically have the heat system on right now in MO2?
Yeah, I was
Oh
there,
my
dude. I was
god,
there on
dude.
Jonas' stream when he said that, and then Jonas stole what I said, didn't even give me any credit. I said, damn, for Henrik to admit that, that's the kind of developer I want. That's like, he couldn't have said shit, nobody would have known, but instead he's like, hey guys, we fucked up, by the way. You know, that's awesome that he admitted it and said they're gonna fix it.
Well, I think people would have noticed like a 30% buff to your stam region all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like that's huge, dude. That's actually so nice. I forgot about that completely until you brought up the heat system in Sarduka and then made me remember it. But that's gonna feel so nice on next patch. We get that buff. So basically, what they have right now is they accidentally somehow in their settings they turned on the extreme heat exhaustion system for players. As far as I know, it doesn't affect mounts at all. So like everyone right now, unless you have the heat clade resistance from I think that's Thursars, you are suffering a 30% stamina regen penalty currently, and that's not supposed to how it's supposed to be right now at all. So next patch,
so
they
funny.
said they're reverting it to how it's supposed to be, so we will see a buff of 30% stam regen.
Yeah, the
It's
humans
Jim
have it. I
guy.
think the humans have that. I think the humans have that clade that's like less heat damage or something like that. One of them has it.
Dude, what did you do to Krennic, dude?
Dude, I
I'm
don't
so
know. This guy's
confused.
upset. I love it.
He's
It's
in
Jim guy,
ES.
not
Did you like
Tequila.
hurt ES recently?
Is he in ES? I don't know, dude.
No,
I
he
don't know
is.
the
He
ES
is.
guys.
I know he
Okay,
is. I'm curious. Like,
I don't know, but I like it. It's funny. He's a
they're
funny
asking
guy.
if you like tequila and tacos.
Of course, I like tequila and tacos, dude. Who doesn't? I live in California, dude. Come on, like, I gotta like tacos and tequila.
Maybe Nightmare will know this. He says once it's turned on, how is it supposed to work? Are you always overheat without the clade? I think that was mostly for Sarduka, no? Not really a Maryland
Yeah,
thing?
so the heat system, yeah, there was no heat system for Mirland on MO1. There was cold and there was heat. When you crossed that Sarduka bridge, you started taking heat damage if you were naked. Okay, so if you were naked, it was the same thing as if you had a shit ton of armor on. You needed to have some kind of like light armor made of special material, right? Like leather or silk. Like silk was amazing. Silk robes. It kept you cool. And then there was a boss that you could kill in Sarduka called the Clothos Queen. It was like this, it looked like a giant Solano. It was like a huge Solano. You would kill it and it butchered for ivory hide, which was a really good backing for armor. And if you put that in steel armor and other armors, it had really good cooling protection. So you could wear heavy armor if it had that backing. So there were some
Oh,
cool elements at play.
so the armor in MO1 had like heat like statistics on them, like the armor values that we have now, you mean?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So armor had that. So if I was rocking like a full steel set of armor with like guard fur backing, I would burn to death like really fast in Sarduka. But if it was steel armor with ivory hide, I'd probably still burn just way slower.
And it showed it on the armor, like next to pierce slash blunt or whatever.
No, I don't believe that it showed it on your armor. I believe when you equipped the set of armor, it showed your character's temperature. So you kind of had to fiddle with it. So,
Okay.
right, you looked at it. So if you had the steel armor with ivory hide, say just a steel armor with guard fur, put you at like 100 and you were burning to death, the other one might put you at 70 or something.
Okay. I mean, I hope if they do that again, they do add it to the armor because that's kind of would be
Yeah,
annoying. But
I know it would. I mean, how would they put that in there though? They'd have to like restructure the AI, the UI. I think. I don't know. Hopefully they could do that, but because it was annoying. You're like, oh shit, oh, I can put this full set on. Let me just not put my left arm on, and then you
yeah.
run into a horse archer. He's like, dude, this idiot's in full fucking steel, but he's not wearing a left arm. Just keep popping you an arm.
Okay, now Krennic is in love with you. It's like I want to listen. He's the top 5 guild. Yes, top 5. Go to gym too.
I think
Oh
he's on too
man,
many tacos and tequila right now.
yeah, I think he's drunk, dude. Fucking crank. He's funny as fuck though. Um, so what else? So yeah, I mean, they kind of brought it up, but actually, this was on my list of stuff I did want to talk about. Who would you put in like the top 5 as far as like PvP guilds? And you could mention, you could say content, just totally your opinion. What do you think?
So PvP guilds is in like yeah, this is hard to say, right? It's like because obviously if we're talking like people that can siege and blow shit up,
Let's
obviously
not
that's
count. See, let's
Kodo.
just say
But
open world. Let's just say open world PvP, where you can kite people and do different strategies. You're not like locked into like a certain place.
okay,
So
so
not
obviously I'm
including
gonna say
sieging.
okay, so obviously I'm gonna say content. I'm
Okay.
gonna say Levia, so that's 2. Um, CTX definitely. So that's 3. The other 2, I don't know. People like to say Nightfall. I have not fought them really. I fought them once and they made some silly mistakes, so they didn't seem that good to me. So I don't know for those last 2 who open world. I mean, there's a lot of names that could go in there. Other than CTX, Levy, and content, though, nothing really like jumps out at me.
What about
I
Bear? Have you
mean,
fought Bear? Because I know
no,
people.
so I haven't fought Bear. Like I've watched, I guess Carnimata. I would put Carnimata on there, even though they live in GK and they don't really roam too much. They are good fighters. A lot of them are from MO1. I know some of them, and when it comes
Hmm.
down to it, they do use good teamwork. So I mean, there's other guilds I could throw in there, right? Like I could throw in Wolfpack or Bear or like Sexy, Acolytes. I just don't see these guilds as much, so I just don't know. I just don't know how good they are. The other ones I know. I know how Levia is. All right, I know how Content is. I know how CTX is, and I know how Carnimata is. So I know. And you ask the populace too, and they'd probably agree with me on some of those names.
It's all good, guys. Don't worry. You just like butchered my guild name, but it's fine. What did you say? He said acolytes, or I don't even know. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry.
Sorry. I'm
What
sorry.
gentlemen? Have you fought gentlemen? I've heard pretty good things about gentlemen and Bhakti.
So I personally haven't fought gentlemen, but I know my guild content before they took a break because they're waiting for the patch or whatever. I know they
Mhm.
roamed to Bhakti a lot and they got into a lot of fights with gentlemen, Wolfpack, and those guys, and they won a lot of them. But I think gentlemen's okay. But I mean,
Okay.
usually I think my guys beat them. That doesn't say anything though, right? That's like that doesn't say much. One good PvP beating another good PvP guild. It's when you take like content against Wolfpack or Kodo or one of them and they massacre them. That looks pretty good. But when it's like 2 really good PvP, they're both good, so it's hard to
Yeah.
diversify.
Yeah, for sure. Gotcha. Um, what kind of like where do you normally play? Like, are you mostly playing around Meduli? I think you told me, or like Tendrum.
Yes. So when I joined, I played beta and then I played by myself for a while and I had a few friends that play, but like none of us are gilded, so we'd like roam together and fight. And then I finally joined content and they're all really cool. I did a bunch of group fighting with them and they're amazing. Like honestly, I had of all the games I've ever played, and I'm not just like I'm not kissing ass or anything because I really don't care. But out of all the games I've played, like Albion, um, I guess Darkfall, all these games, the guy who is one of the leaders of content is one of the best shot callers that I've ever heard, ever in any game I've ever played. So I did a few group fights with them, and it was like honestly, listening to this guy's shot call was a beautiful thing. Everyone was quiet. No one fucking talked. Is it like they would get beaten like that redheaded stepchild? Like nobody talked, and this guy had flawless calls. So I did group fighting with them for a while, and a lot of them stopped waiting for the patch. So now I've been doing my own thing around Meduli. I've been ganking Fab to Tindrum to Meduli to Vada is like my area that I've been solo ganking, or I have like 1 or 2 people join me and we just fight outnumbered and have good fights.
Who's the? Are you allowed to say who the shot caller is, or not
Oh
allowed to
yeah,
say?
so the shot caller is I hear Fuss is pretty good. I just haven't really heard him shot call as much. But G Bunny, when G Bunny is on, his shot calling's honestly the best I've ever heard. Like I've been to a lot of guilds for Darkfall, uh, all these sandbox games, and his is he just knows how to call. He knows the map. He knows where all of the choke points are, and he knows when to tell us to attack and when to back up. It's like flawless calling.
Nice. Okay. What are like some of the things about his shot calling that think you make it such a good shot caller? Is it just because everyone else is quiet, or is it like the strategies, or like what do you think?
So like There's a lot of different things that come into play, right? Like, obviously, if you're in Discord and a bunch of people are screaming, like, oh, I need heals, I need heals. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, dude. There's none of that. There's none of that. Everyone is quiet. And if they do, they'll say it once because the healers listen in this guild. They'll be like, hey, Nightmare needs a heal back left or whatever, straight lining to you. And, you get the heals. Other than that, it's just very calming, like for this crazy chaotic fighting where it's like they're usually outnumbered, where it's like 10 guys versus 17 or 20. It's just so fucking calm. It'll be like, okay, we're pulling back to this choke up this hill. Pop your clades, stay up. Healers, get ready to heal the frontline guys coming in. If you're a Vila, get ready to turn and help, the mages. It's just so consistent. And then they have great pushes where it's like targeting instead of just, okay, turn around and fight. It's turn around and focus this guy on the right. Okay, so you get 4 or 5 Ogmirs all hitting this one guy, and he's instantly fucking deleted. Then you go to the next guy, and everyone listens. It works so well, and I've been in so many guilds where that doesn't happen. So a lot of things come together that just makes it so perfect. But he does really good shot calling.
Yeah, I don't know for all the content guys, but I have seen like Fuzz's like streams and like the videos that they put out, especially like that one where I don't know, it was 20v70 against Coda or whatever. You guys like always seem to like be really prepared. Like this man had like, like blood Kua, he had like pipes, he had potions, and like not saying like he had like an unfair advantage or anything. Like you just come prepared, like you're taking it seriously from what I can tell, and like that can make all the difference in a fight, especially an outnumbered fight. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah, that's
mean,
another thing. So I left that out. So like it's a play to win scenario, even though you're going out with maybe 13 guys and you're gonna get the militia and there's gonna be 20 to 30. It doesn't matter. It's still a play to win scenario. So when you leave, you're not leaving in malarium. You're leaving with a steel or a tongue steel weapon. Sorry, I had to burp. You're leaving with a steel or a tongue steel weapon, okay? You're leaving with really good armor. If you're an Ogmir, full steel or Panzer, okay, if you're Vila, you're going to probably do full Panzer Kurite with Merc plate arms made out of steel. You're bringing good gear. You're not afraid to lose, okay? On top of that, you're bringing potions that you can, if it's 50 HP potions, whatever, if you can afford better, like over 100 HP potions, you're bringing that, and you're just bringing stuff that's going to help you, right? So when it's 10 guys versus 40, and they're focusing one Ogmir who's in full steel, okay, and they think they're about to kill him as he's running through his allies to get to the healers, and then he hits a potion for 100 HP straight into a crack pipe, straight into a bandage. Now all of those idiots that chased him into the back line are out of stam and they're about to get killed. So it's just coming
yeah,
prepared too.
no, for sure. Like I really watch. I like watching like contents videos. Like I think if there's like if I was gonna put a guild at the number one slot, it would be content. I don't know who I would put at number two because I have like a lot of respect for CTX and watching Levia over the course of like the year and a half I've been playing now. I think they both do extremely well. I don't know who I'd put in the second spot, honestly. I think top four, mine would be content, Levia, CTX, and Bear. Personally, from what I've seen, those are like the four guilds I respect the most. And someone was saying like, not gonna lie, Bears leader Chieftain has similar to G Bunny, he's really shot calls well and he stay calm and boost morale. I love listening to fucking Chieftains. Like when he ever does his videos with like the comms in it, you can always just like hear him like screaming to like push and stuff. And I mean, like that's not like the environment some people look for. They like the calm voice and like just like the clear shot calling where nobody's talking. But honestly, I love hearing Chieftains because it does like it like hypes me up when he's like, "This I fucking love you." It's like it would boost the hell out of my morale, make me want to like dive in deeper personally. But I could
I
go
don't
with
think I've
either,
seen any of their videos. It's so weird. Like I know Bear has good numbers and they're like good fighters, but I swear I've like never seen them. I've never seen them in Meduli or Vada or Fab. Like I just don't. Do they live in Hilspea and just stay up there? That's
I
my
don't
question.
know. I don't know how active they are right now. What I've noticed with Bear, I feel like they go through like waves of activity, and I could be totally bullshitting here. Don't quote me. I'm sorry if any Bears are listening. They hate me for saying this. I feel like they go through waves of activity where it's like sometimes they'll like just like be banging on like PvP all the time, like 30 people, and then like other times it's mostly like 10 to 15 guys who are just like playing like casually, like not really like doing like a lot of rounds. Like I haven't seen like a Bear ping on the map in like for a while now. Like I don't know if they're actually playing right now. I don't know, but they could very well be playing. I think they only play like Hispelia, slash fab slash at their castle mostly. That's probably why we don't see like a ton of like bear roam pings or anything like that. That's just from what I know. I could be wrong again, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the weird thing, right? Is like I played Grenache, Fab, Tindra, Meduli area, and since launch, I think I've seen like 2 of them. So it's like I feel like they stayed up in the north and they owned that snowy bandit camp to get those capes and like that whole region over there that like I never
Mhm.
go to, you know.
Yeah, and I know they don't really go to GK either, like almost ever. From what I hear, like from Carnimata and like Talus people or whoever I talk to, they don't really go to GK. So I really don't know what they do. I'm pretty sure they're still playing, as far as I know. I just think they go through like waves of activity, like where they get like really hyped about like the game or a patch or something, and they come in, and they do great fights, and they pump out a few videos, and then they kind of just kind of get bored. Maybe they're playing other things as like a guild or something. I don't really know, but they have good PvPers. Like when they're active and they're like doing things, like there was like a video a little bit ago where they fought Legion, they wiped Legion, and then I think they fought Kodo, wiped Kodo, and then they fought Legion and Kodo, and I think they lost, but only when they had like triple their numbers or something. Did you see that video or no?
No, I don't think I saw that. I gotta pay more
Okay.
attention to the yeah. I gotta watch more
If someone
videos
has
about
that
it.
video, it was by Paxson. I know it's on his channel. Paxton does most of their videos. So what they do, they have like a Dropbox where they all get footage and they all put it in this Dropbox, and then they make one really good video instead of like 3 or 4 like mediocre videos like I do. So that's kind of how they do it for their videos. And Paxton is usually the guy who does all the editing and like pumps out their videos for them.
See, that's pretty cool.
There's also a GK radio from the beta that was really popular, where like Legion Alliance came to like GK. He was the one shot calling in that video. If you see that video.
That's funny because I was in Legion at that time and Vicness was pleading with me to come to that, and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna travel from Vada to fucking GK for a 5-minute fight. I'm like, I got shit to do. So I ended up going out, and then my guys were like, thank God you didn't come. I'm like, what happened? And they showed me the video. I was like, oh dude, that's rough. Like that was rough.
Yeah, they just got baited, and then there was some earthquaking that happened in their front line, and then it was just a break,
No, yeah, they got there finally, and they went through a little pass, and then the guild they were allied with, Mana, is like, "Hey, we can't fight. Like, something's going on." They left them, and then Legion pushed in the pass and just got like jumped on by earthquake mages, and it looked brutal.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mana is like at that time they were like all fat mages, as far as I could tell, or like hybrids. So like they all stayed on their mounts and like stayed super far behind the line. Were like they were like making calls to themselves about contact, and it was like it's just another Mana guy. So they kept turning around, not even looking at the front at all. They were all mounted, so even if they had been paying attention, they would have had double cast time for all their heals. Like it would have been super ineffective. Mana being there mounted, whether they had been actually paying attention and healing people, it wouldn't have mattered because they were all mounted, double cast time, whatever. It was they should have like made Mana dismount, made them focus on the front line. Then they would have had a chance. But I think they were relying mostly on Mana's like mage power, and like the rest of like the group was pretty much like melee focused, or like maybe had a few other mages, but Mana was like pretty much all their mages, so they had like no backline.
But I mean, like, even though because that was like a big hot topic then, like, hey, they betrayed us. Either way, it was a lost fight. Like, if you go into that choke and have like mages jumping and earthquaking behind you and fighters, but you're getting pinched. Like you're gonna die unless you've got extremely good shot calling to push through, like to their initial line and kill their mages in the back line. You're getting screwed. Like, because your mages are gonna die. Obviously, your mages in their back, and if guys are jumping off into your mages earthquaking, your mages are gonna die. So you have to kill their mages. So I think it was a lose-lose.
I think like if like I don't know what the numbers were, I can't remember off the top of my head, but even if it had been like even numbers and let's say even skill across the board, I would have definitely always have rather been the guild that was inside the crater, not the guild that was pushing into the crater. Because like if you think about it, like the crater is like this big dome, like this big what's that fucking called in like a neighborhood? Like you go around, it's like a you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
so,
like, I got it.
If like the backline, if like the group that's defending is pushing back, the group that's pushing in is kind of like spreading out their front line. You could like get behind their front line to go to their back line and kill their mages because you know exactly where their mages are going to be, but you don't know where the Tephra Crater mages are because they have like a lot of room to spread out, but you're funneling through this tunnel. So I think either way, they were in a bad spot to have pushed in through that like little that choke point. I think that was really bad. And I think
Yeah.
they were just
I
so
mean,
hyped, and like it was such a long time to get there. They just wanted the fight, you know. Like they didn't
exactly,
want to
that's what
wait.
it was.
So
They're so hyped. They're like, an hour of traveling. Like, let's get the fight. And other guys are like just waiting. Like these guys are fucked. They have no idea what's about to happen. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's one
so
thing that I hate about MO2 is that it's so much bigger. Like in MO1, riding at one point riding was a primary skill, but you
mhm,
could walk from Meduli to Tindrum in like 5-10 minutes. And now it's so big, you need to ride horses everywhere. So it takes way longer to
yeah,
get from place to place to get fights.
I'm still confused why they increased the map so much too. That's such an odd thing. Like they
Yeah.
knew how MO1 was. Yeah, it got an updated graphics and everything, but it's like I don't know. Like if the goal of the game is PvP, like that's like essentially the end game. It's like why increase the map size? I don't know. I just don't get it really.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Maybe they're hoping CSKG would come by.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
build shit everywhere. Because right now it's like, yeah, there's a lot of buildings, but it doesn't take up much space. Like you leave Meduli and there's like a whole little village, but like that's a fraction. That's so small. Like you could
Mhm.
definitely shrink the map up a lot more and still have enough space for everybody to build.
No, for sure, absolutely. So we do have Asorn in chat. Asorn is an officer from Bear, and he said, "You're right about waves of activity, but yeah, we just roam to towns and do lots of training at our keep, dungeons, Vespelia, and CC area often." Oh yeah, I forgot. They like playing in CC a lot too. I remember they were
Okay.
contesting Carney for a while in CC, at least in the beta. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of where they play. I don't think a lot of people play between Hispelia and CC, so that's probably why you don't
That
see a
makes
lot of
sense.
Bear.
Yeah, that makes
So yeah.
sense.
But yeah, I mean that's all good. Like, I mean, I don't even blame them. Like, what are we grinding for right now? Even like we're grinding for like the hope of something better. Like, I mean, you could go out and you could like go PvP in Malarium and Flakestone and get PvP, but it's like, why am I grinding for like Tungsteel Chronite, or like why am I like getting this bank full of like all these like building materials and stuff? Like, we're just like hoping that Starvolt like gets us the stuff. You know, what I mean, it may
Yeah.
never necessarily come. You know, at the end of the day, like there's no
I
guarantee.
I
Uh,
agree. It's like, yeah, I agree. Like I cut off at tongue. Like I'm not going for Chronite or Ogmium or any of that. Like I might
mm,
buy it, but it's like farming wise, like once I have enough weapons, armor, and I have crafters, once I have like 3 stacks of steel, like once I've accumulated this shit, what else is there for me to do? PvP. That's it. Like,
mhm.
I'm never gonna go touch those mobs again or touch more rocks. Like I just want a PvP. And that's kind of sparse to find right now because everyone's waiting for a patch. So I don't
No,
know. I
for
feel like
sure.
there's a limit. There's no like what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like dump. There's nothing to dump your money really into.
Yeah.
Like, you build I guess build a stronghold or a house, but like after that, there's still no dump.
There's no like sync is what I think the word.
Continuous. Yeah, no sink. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
continuous stink. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. So like as soon as we get TC and sieging, but we're gonna have so much sync in this game, it's gonna be crazy.
Yep.
Because like you said, like even if it doesn't work how it worked in MO1, like when you siege a house, you have 24 hours. Even if you don't have that and like it could be instantly looted, either way, there's gonna be like houses. Like maybe you go and siege this guy's house just because you don't fucking like him. You don't even care about the loot. He's like he built right next to you. You fucking hate him. You want him gone. You siege his house. You don't come back in 24 hours to get the loot. But he doesn't know he got sieged either because he's not playing that day. And then he doesn't come back. All whatever was in there is now gone from the game forever. No one got it. It's not being recycled. It's not being put back into the economy. Not to mention the gold he put into the house and the materials he put in the house gone forever. Not getting those back. The man cannon you use, that gold's gone. The materials you use to build that's gone. So there's going to be so many sinks when we get sieging and TC that there will be so many more reasons to farm anything. It could be
Yeah.
Ironbone, it could be Steel, it could be Chronite, it could be fucking Emology, whatever. Everything will increase in value because the sync of the game will increase exponentially with sieging.
Yeah, that's what everyone's waiting for. Like you just said, right? Like
Yeah.
I have to pay to get the man and the catapult up. I got to pay for the boulders, okay?
Mhm.
The dude whose fucking house gets blown up has to pay for a new house if he wants one.
Yeah,
For sieging too, like, you're not going to have guys in Incisium or like Malarium. Everyone's going to say, wear your best gear. So people are going to be losing steel sets, maybe Chronite sets, tongue steel weapons left and right in a siege. So
for sure.
it's definitely going to be a good sync once TC's in.
Yeah, it'll increase the value and it'll make the gameplay more interesting because there's a lot more at risk, which is why we play a game like this. Like, we like that adrenaline rush and that risk factor that comes into it. If you didn't like that, you'd be playing like fucking World of Warcraft, you know, where it's like not full loot or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this game is all about risk. It's all about that adrenaline rush and like the emotions that one goes through playing the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that though. Like me and my guys will go ganking or whatever. I guess not. I guess it is ganking, but we try to look for fights, not just killing. Jim Bob the fucking naked miner. Like we're not trying to do that. We're trying to kill actually geared guys, and we will, right?
Mhm.
It will kill like yesterday. We killed a bunch of Kodo that were in like full Panzer, and they're like, my guys are like, I want to bank. These aren't content guys. These are just like my close friends that play with me. They're all like ungilded. But they're
Yeah.
like, I want to bank. And I'm like, no, dude, we're not going to go fucking bank one set. We're going to keep fighting. If you want to keep that, you better play balls out. Like, you better play good if you want
Mhm.
to keep that set. So yesterday we ended up doing that. And I think I told you on Discord, we got like fucking 20 or 30 kills in a half an hour. And then
Mhm.
we ended up dying. And we just had so much loot on us that the dudes that killed us were probably like, oh my God. Like, I had like 3 reptile sets on me, a steel and a tongue steel sword. It was like a bunch of good shit, but we just wanted to keep PvPing because it's so sparse. We didn't care about the loot.
How heavy do tongue steel swords get weight wise? Do you know?
It depends what head it is, but it's like 2.5 to 2.7, I believe. I craft them too, so like I would have to log in and tell you, but they're a little bit heavier than steel, not too bad.
What kind of slash do you get? Like values? I don't think I've used one this.
If it's a heavy great blade, it's 30, I believe, or 30.5, and if you're using a rise or a two-handed sword, it's 31 slash.
Oh shit! I don't see anyone using riser swords really anymore. Is that like not a thing anymore that people do?
It's situational. It's because the book is so rare. That's how I got rich in this game. I actually traded a bunch of materials to some dude for a Riser two-handed sword book, and I flipped that bitch for 3,800 gold, 3,800. But like no one uses them just because they have short reach. So if you're not used to it and you're not a Vila, they have shorter reach than the heavy great or even a great sword. It's
Okay.
shorter reach and they're heavier for more damage.
Yeah, I was talking to Antheus, actually, the leader from Cardimata today, even about the trinkets from MO1. Maybe you have more insight on this on Nightmare. I don't know, but he was basically saying that you get like there's like different levels of trinkets. Like I think he said there was like 1 to 7 tiers of trinkets. So like there's like the cheaper end trinkets, and then there's a higher end trinkets, and they all have a different amount of sync that goes into them. But you get more investment, obviously, from the higher end ones. And do you know what kind of like I can't remember what he said. It's in my Discord, but I can't look at my Discord because I have to like turn off the stream. But do you know what kind of like benefits you would get from the trinkets? Like, what they
Yeah,
add?
so I know all about trinkets. Trinkets were such a huge thing in MO1. Um, the sewers of Tindrum were like the number one place that people farmed in MO1 for trinkets. There was like 2 places they could drop off anything. Like they had a small chance to drop off like risers or bandits or whatever, but the bosses had the highest chance of dropping them, right? So like the bandit boss and the rat boss that they had in the sewers of Tindrum in MO1, and then in Sarduka there was like a boss that dropped them. So those were the highest chances to get them. And they were completely random. There was tier 1 trinkets, which costed like 10 gold to charge, all the way up to tier 7 trinkets, which costed 500 or 1,000 gold to charge. And when I say
Holy
charge,
fuck!
you charge it so like I could have this trinket equipped, okay? And I won't drop it on death if it's equipped to me, but it's not giving me any stats that it shows until I charge it. And then if I have it charged and I die with it, it takes the charge away. So say I charged my tier 7 trinket that's fucking 1,000 gold to charge it and I died, I'm out 1,000 gold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is my mic bad? Move it closer.
This is mic bad? No, you sound fine to me. Yes, the audio is terrible. I think he might be trolling you, dude.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, so that was it for trinkets, and they varied like what they did. So like something extremely rare would be a tier 3 trinket that had +2 raw strength on it. So you would charge it and it only costed you 50 gold or so to charge it,
Mhm.
and it would give you +2 raw strength. So if an Augmere had it, they could get to 125 max strength and draw better bows. And then when they died with it, it was only 50 gold to you know, re-enchant it.
Okay. So yeah, and then I think he said there was up to 3 charges on the trinkets. Is that
No,
does
it
that?
was 1 charge per death. So
No, but I
like you
mean, you
would
can have
charge
3
it.
charges or no?
No, so like when you charged it and you died, you needed to go buy another charge. It just held one charge.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I don't know why he was saying that. He was saying there's like 3 charges or something, but I don't know.
Fuck,
It's
I
all good.
wish. I wish for the money you put into some of them. No, it was like,
Yeah,
dude, we
500
had
gold?
guys.
Holy
So
fuck, dude.
we had one guy who had a trinket that was nuts. It was like it was a tier 4 or 5 trinket, so it was easily like 200-300 gold to charge it. And he'd only equip it for sieging, and it had like plus 50 mounted archery, plus 40 aiming technique, plus 30 endurance, plus 2 raw strength. It had all these fucking crazy stats on it, but it was like 300 gold to charge it. And he'd put it on for sieges, and he could just do like everything.
Oh, that's kind of nutty. Oh, and Antius is saying Henrik was saying MO2 will have more charges. Maybe that's what he was saying to me. I forgot, and I can't look at it. So
Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, in MO1 it was just 1 charge.
gotcha. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And then so we're getting what? So I'm just gonna go over the patch notes stuff that I have here. So what I know we're getting in the patch is we're getting the new housing perms. So people can set passwords for their friends and guildies, whoever, and you'll have access to the house. I don't know if that applies to the chest, but I know you could add additional chests to your house that they could then use. But I don't know if it works for the original chest, so I don't have that information. We're also getting stables that can be attached to houses, strongholds, or castles. We're getting a priest that you can buy the stable. This is like some sort of NPC or decoration you can buy. Then you can add a priest as a decoration or NPC that you can buy to both strongholds or castles, but not houses. And then we're also getting portable campfires, crusher, grinder, and they said workbenches. So in my mind, I'm thinking like butcher table possibly too, like a portable butcher table you could take out to the field maybe. That would be interesting. And then we're getting like clade respec. So like if you fucked up your clades or you just decide to go a different way for some reason, maybe a more PvP route than a PvE route, whatever. We're getting that. I think that's gonna be like a gold sink in towns. We're getting guard calling, which we talked about earlier, where like if you see a gray, and hopefully this only applies to somewhere near towns or in towns, that you can slash guard and a guard will spawn or run over or whatever to attack that person. I'm a little bit worried about that still, a little skeptical. And then we're getting Toxite Curite rep fix for anyone who lives in MK Toxite. This is really fucking nice because right now if you do a parcel run to Toxite, you are getting a Nom Sith rep, not Curite rep, and that's going to change in this patch apparently.
I'll take
And
the
then
I'll be right back.
yeah, go ahead. And then we're also getting a so like right now currently if you're a blue, you have crim actions off and you're trying to heal your blue friend and he's fighting someone who's gray and is a criminal. If you accidentally heal the criminal, you'll flag up even though you have crim actions off. Apparently they are fixing that so that even if you heal or try or accidentally heal a criminal or something, that you won't flag up and you won't heal them. So basically it's translating the melee system with crim actions off, where if like you try and hit like a blue player with crim actions off, you just do nothing essentially. That's unfair. Why is that unfair? It's the same thing with like melee or archery. You can't hit a blue with crim actions off. It'll tell you no, that's a criminal action. You can't heal a criminal with crim actions off because that's a crime. So it's the same thing essentially. They're not going to get the heal, and they're also not going to go criminal. Blue should have friendly fire if they heal an enemy by mistake. That's their fault. I mean, that's one take, sure. That's how it is currently, but they are changing that in this patch. Personally, I'm excited for all these changes. I think this is going to be a really solid patch. And then Nightmare can give his take when he comes back. He's just using the facilities. Does anyone else know if there's anything I missed that's coming in this patch aside from those that we're getting? I was trying to watch a stream. I can never watch Henrik's full streams, unfortunately, but that's what I got so far. Will healers get murder counts if they heal someone and that someone murders people? I hope not. Well, he can't. Well, currently, no, you don't get murder counts, and I don't think that's a future mechanic that's coming. I'm not sure, but no, currently they do not. I hope bounty hunting. I hope bounty anything. You hope bounty anything. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? How do you feel about the bounty system, by the way, Nightmare?
I mean, I'm interested in it, but like I want to see because it's like, oh, cool, I got a bounty right on this murderer. can my friends help me, or am I just gonna go get absolutely dunked by this dude? Like, I want to see if it's group based. Like, obviously your friends can help you go kill that person, but are they gonna get anything from it? Like, I'm definitely interested by it because if it's like one dude figuring it out, like, oh, that's cool, and he wants to go kill a murderer, he's probably gonna get dunked on, right?
Yeah. I
So
think they said like when you get the bounty, like the target will show local gray. So that means you can attack him in towns without repercussion, but like other people won't be able to attack him. But that also means that your friends will still be able to heal you while you kill him or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's no way to get around that. So
I mean, that's
technically, it
coming
still
on
could be group
Tuesday, right?
based.
That's supposed to be coming on Tuesday, right? I think
The
it's
bounty
Tuesday.
system? I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think
Oh
is it?
no, I thought that was coming in this next patch. I thought that's what he said.
I can't even check my Discord because I'm streaming the Discord. But I don't know. Someone go check their FAQ. I don't think the bounty system was coming that soon, unless he said it was.
I might be
If I might have
wrong,
missed
but I
that.
thought I saw like not this stream that Henrik did on Thursday, but like the week before, I saw like a Robmo Reddit write up, and I thought I saw all the stuff on there, and it looked like really juicy. Like it looked like the whole alliance and war system. I thought it was the bounty hunting. Oh, okay. Someone just said it's the patch after. Okay, and then I saw the basic necromancy. I think that's like the patch after too. Basic necromancy.
How do you feel about necromancy?
As long as they don't add death knights right off the bat, it'll be totally fine. If you can like raise skeletons and you could do like the life steal spell and like some of that stuff, it's totally fine. But if they add death knights and crazy OP pets like that, it's gonna be broken like it was in MO1.
Do you think like the undead white bear would be more powerful than the white bear? Like, what do you think the benefit to that would be?
Probably. They'll probably be stronger. I mean, well, I have to see because in MO1, no one used anything but a Death Knight, right? Like there was like abominations, there was shades, there was skeletons. Shades were really cool. It was like a big black mist, and that was it. That like attacked super fast and spit acid at people. It was crazy. But everyone used a Death Knight, right? Because you could go get like Megnaton carcass, White Bear carcass, and something else, and make this thing, and then raise it to level 125, and it would just fuck everybody up. It would hit people
Yeah,
for like 70s.
and they could also do range attacks, right? The death knights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you made it out of certain stuff, that would depend what it would get. But like you could use, I forget what it was, but there was like carcass you could use where it would get a bow and a halberd or something, and it would run fast. So like if you
Yeah.
put that on someone, they were fucked. It had like 2,000 health. It had a lot of health too.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I do remember someone saying that a lot of the good carcasses they use for death knights came from Sarduka. So that would be at least something we could ease into if we don't have access to those materials for the death knights anyways, if they do release them right away. Nightmare showing off the guns, dude. He's always showing off
Dude,
the guns.
always.
Every
Dude,
time
I'm
I tune
always
to his
showing off
stream,
the
he's
guns.
always showing
Dude,
off his
always,
guns.
always. I just got a new webcam to my camera too. I broke the other one by accident.
Oh, okay. I see like a box, but is that a box?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are my Amazon boxes I have to crush up, or they're already
Okay.
crushed up. I just got to put them outside.
Okay.
I do like my Amazon. I like that 2-day
Mhm.
shipping.
Yeah, Amazon's nice. What was I gonna say? Fuck, I can't remember. What was it?
Take your time. I'm chilling.
Like totally spaced out right now. What's like the thing you're looking forward to the most this patch that's coming that you've heard of?
I really want to see how the alliance and the war system works. Like it'll be cool being allianced and having it blue instead of red, how people were doing it before. But I really want to see the forced war decks. I want to see how that works. Because in MO1, they did that for a little while, and it burned. It just burned. Like people in Tindrum would force war deck another Tindrum guild, and it would just be all chaos fighting at the banks and stuff. So then it turned into like they had to accept it, which doesn't seem right for a sandbox game for someone to, oh gee, do we want to accept your war declaration? No. So I would definitely want to see how that works now that they're adding forced war decks.
Well, as far as I know, from what Henrik said, they're not going to be the same thing like in MO1. So Forest War decks will be for stuff outside of towns. It's not going to be like we're ganking you at the bank. You'll still go criminal, fighting someone in a Forest War deck, but they cannot give you rep loss or murder counts.
Okay, so that's going to be huge then for those big battles that like people have outside.
Yeah,
So like Kodo, say Kodo, like not every Kodo guy's red, right? And not every whatever, say it's Pi or Sexy, they're not all red either. So now if they're war decked, right, it's you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry
yeah,
about parcels. So that's going to
yeah.
be really good for the game.
It's gonna be for out of town fighting still, so you're not ganking each other at the fucking bank, griefing each other out of the game. But when you're fighting outside the town, you will not. They can't give you the option for a murder count because you're at war. So you can't also experience rep loss from that.
Yeah, see, that's cool. Like when they tested the whole war stuff in beta and they had everyone go outside of Meduli and fight each other. I remember one guy in my guild was like, dude, I just got like 11 murder counts and I'm fucking red from that one battle.
Yeah,
Like he's like, I don't want to play anymore. But now that'll help a lot fixing that.
yeah, for sure. I also think they need like a red town in like the southeast part of the map because like the Curite doesn't like they don't have like a red town. I think that part of the map is kind of just like there's just nothing going on. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I think they because they they I think they did the stuff with the red priests just because it was too crazy. Like especially in Meduli, you could be like I can attest to this because I did it in beta. But like you could spawn at the priest across from Meduli. What was it called? It was called Love Shack. They called it Love Shack Priest. You could spawn there if you died with your starter sword and then run up to the first noob that you see outside of Meduli and kill him and get a gear set and keep going. So I think they changed it and made these red priests like far and wide just to keep it noob friendly. But I think they're gonna do something like that, like add another town or add a lot more red priests once like the war system in TC and a lot more stuff is in. Right? It's time gated, it's locked right now because they don't want noob griefing.
yeah, I mean like the red town doesn't really matter because we'll have strongholds with priests at them like this patch anyways. So you'll have like these murder hobo villages with priests that they can go to and spawn at and stuff. It's more so like for like vendoring. Like I don't know, like they need like the vendors and stuff because like if you're like let's say you're an MA red character, how do you get arrows? Like do you have to
Yeah.
buy them from a guildie? Do you have to use your
Well,
alt account? Like what's you know what I
Well,
mean?
so like that just brought up a few things. You're right. So you said so they're adding the stronghold priests, which is huge, right? That's major. That's like that stronghold that's outside of the spider cave near Medulla. You could just have a red priest right there, just
Yeah.
respawn and get right back into fight. And it's the same thing. They're adding equerries, right? So they're adding like stable masters where you can stable your horses at like even your house or stronghold. That's huge because right now people, especially since it's one server, they're getting horses, bringing it into their house and abandoning it, and it's making it so that horse doesn't respawn outside. It stays in the game world in their house. So
Yeah.
those two things are huge. And then as far as arrows in MO1, this is going to be with TC. It's not going to be anytime soon, but they had vendors you could put down. So I could pay 50 gold to get a vendor contract, build a little stall for this dude. Okay. And I could have like a basic vendor there who did bandages, arrows, all that stuff. But
The
you weren't
yeah, go ahead.
allowed to sell stuff to him. So like I couldn't go kill a wolf outside of my house, butcher it up, and then sell it to that vendor. I had to bring actual gold to him to buy the stuff.
Didn't people have it? It's like with their butcher tables or something, it had like a cost to use in the wild, like in the villages and stuff.
Yes and no. So what people had is they would build like a butcher table right down near the shore prowlers, right? Um, and it would be in their house and they'd lock their house. But what they built was a vendor. So they built a vendor guy, like a trade vendor, right at their house, and they had buy orders. So people could go down there, farm stacks of shore prowler, bring it just to that trade broker right there, and fill the buy order. So this guy says, hey, I'm going to give you 7 gold for each stack, right? You would just bring it straight there. And if he had 15, you could fill 15 orders and then just
Yeah,
leave with your gold. So it was
buy
really
orders are
cool,
so
right?
good.
Because
Yeah,
that dude then was like, "Ha, look at these fucking idiots. They're selling it to me for 7 gold. I can make 15 gold off each stack." So it's like kind
yeah.
of smart.
No, for sure. Because like, well, they have to take the risk of transporting materials. You know, they're much heavier, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So it's a good trade, in my opinion. I don't know those exact numbers, of course, but you know, like you're taking the risk, you should make profit. You know, so
Yeah, buy orders were huge in MO1. Like people would say, "Hey, I'm buying a stack of steel for 50 gold," and this other dude's like, 449 gold right here, like or 451. Like, I'm gonna pay 1 gold more. So it got pretty crazy, but it was good. I really enjoyed it.
No, buyers are like essential for the economy almost too, because then you could also track like what people in what areas like are looking for. Like if a lot of people in MK are looking to buy like a lot more calcs, and then maybe in Fabrinum they're looking to buy a lot more Sabura, just based on like the needs in those areas and what they have. Like buyers are a good way to track stuff like that too. So
Exactly. And it doesn't take away. You can't buy specific things. I can't say I want to put in a buy order for a tongue seal two-handed. That just is what's on the market. It's
yeah,
more for like, materials and stuff.
yeah, for sure. Um, those will be solved. You'll be able to put those at strongholds. Yeah, I think we'll be able to build vendors at strongholds eventually. I don't know if he's actually mentioned anything about vendors yet. Particularly. I mean, he probably has. I just don't know if it's been like a big topic yet or anything. Yeah, red augs can't even buy pipes unless they are in a lawless area. Yeah, pipes are a thing too for augmiers, I'm sure. Bandages too, in general. Like, where do you buy bandages if you're red? Unless you go to a red town, can't make them. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of out of topics, brother. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I think we covered most of it. It was good. It was a good little podcast. That was nice, going over some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. If you maybe if you want to boot up your stream, put it in like starting soon or something, we'll go ahead and raid you if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I'm gonna go probably kill some people, or at least try to. So
You got a comment? Yeah, what's up, Ranzu? What's your comment? You can turn off your camera if you need to put it on OBS as well, by the way.
Oh, okay.
You just tuned into the latest channel on Twitch.
Oh, Ranzu wants to know about your opinion on the Odin Seed versus Kodo fights. I think there's been 2 now. Of like Odin Seed pushing to Meduli to fight Kodo. Did you see those or no?
Yeah, so what I saw was, I don't know, I saw something where it was like some little fight broke out and then it was a war. Like now they're going to war against each other. That's what I heard. I didn't watch the fights though. I just know that those two guilds are going at it, which is like it's okay, but it seems not fair, right? Because Odin Seed's like mostly role playing and they want a PvE, and now they're forced into PvP and war, where Kodo just has like quadruple their numbers. So I
Well,
don't know.
actually, I think Odin Seed wants to fight them. I think they
Do
started
they?
it.
What the fuck?
I think
That's
so.
weird.
I mean, they're the ones pushing Meduli. It's not like they're defending Fabrinum.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm all for it. Like I'm 100% for it. That's more content, right? That's like, two giant guilds fighting. It's just shit that you could, just more fighting in the world. I'm all for it. I love the PvP, so if
Yeah,
it's less
so
people sitting in Fabrinum dueling and actually out there fighting, I'm all for it.
well, yeah, I'm sure Kodo's going to bring people to Fab to get the fights as well, but like the 2 big fights that I've seen on like streams were Odin Seed coming to Meduli both times. I think
Really?
this last one they brought Wolfpack with them. I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard that
no,
too. Did Odin Seed ally Wolfpack?
I don't know. We got Haretsu here. Haretsu, are you guys? He said yes, so I think they did ally, unless he's
I mean, that's
responding to someone
awesome.
else. But
Because you got to think, right? Like Kodo's really big by themselves. They also have nameless artisans, I think, old guard, fucking North Order. They have a bunch in their alliance, so that's why it's so huge. So if they're going to war
yeah,
with someone, I hope that other person they're going to war with has a lot of allies too.
I think like pretty much every guild in Meduli is allied at this point. Like if you're living in Meduli, why wouldn't you be in the alliance too? As the other part of that at the same time, like unless you're fighting Kodo actively, and I don't think there's any like strong guild in Meduli that is fighting Kodo, because they're probably just getting griefed all shit by their whole alliance, right? Like everyone's probably in their alliance, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's like a death sentence if you're not. Like
Yeah, like you're not gonna be able to do anything.
because they're not really like RP or they're not really like RPK, but you're probably gonna get killed a bunch and it's join or die scenario if you want to live in Medulla, it seems.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
starting it up now.
okay, just let me know when you are good for the raid, brother. Don't forget to post it on the MO Discord too.
I never do that.
You never
I'm
do
so
it? Oh
bad.
shit.
No, I like never posted on the MO Discord that I'm going
So
live. I
someone
just go
go
live
post.
and
Alright, so go post Nightmare's stream on the MO Discord.
I just go
Can't
live
post
and I
it.
figure
I can't post
I
it.
just figure my title as PvP. People are like, "Fuck, let me go check this out," and then it's me looking for PvP for 40 minutes.
Damn.
And then I run into 6 guys and die, and you know what? It's fun though.
Yeah. Do you go to sewers a lot or no? Not anymore.
No, that was when I first started and I wanted to get better. I did that. Now I'll just take my bow, my sword, whatever armor. I'll roam the Meduli Desert. I'll, if I see someone with bags, I kill them. Even if I see 4 dudes, I've made this mistake many times. I'll still go in. I'll attack those 4 guys just to see 20 showing up behind them, and I'm dead. But I love to fight. So if I see 3 dudes, I'll try and kill one's horse, knowing that his boys are gonna dismount to fight me. I'll try and kill him fast enough, and then I'll
Oh
do a
yeah.
1v3. So hoping it's not like some bangers. If it's 3 bangers to get off the horse, I know I'm dead. I'm just gonna try my best.
That's the problem with that terrain too. Is like there's not like rivers or anything like terrain advantage you can really use. I like the MK area because there's fucking rivers all over the place, especially between MK Toxai. There's bamboo and shit. Like I love that area for like foot fights, man. It's great. But
It's true. Now that's good you say that. It's good you mentioned that because now when I do it, I'm on my Vila with all
yeah,
my clades and stuff. So if I can get up a mountain, I can yoink myself off a cliff and take like barely any fall damage. So it really helps for
Mhm.
survival. Like maybe I'm fighting and then okay, now there's 6 dudes versus just me. I'm bandaging, I'm hitting my potion. I always carry a potion on me. I'm hitting my potion, I'm hitting my clades. I'm gonna try and get up onto a cliff to jump off. If it's like me versus 3 or 4 guys, I'll die fighting. But if I'm getting zerged, I just want to make them work for it.
Gotcha. Ranzu's asking you, will Nightmare ever make his own guild for marauding bandits?
I mean, a lot of people want me to do that. I just can't be a guild leader. I just like PvP too much. Like,
Yeah,
a mercenary guild would be cool. Like, if I made a guild and it was like guys who want to go ganking and doing all that, it's just too much work for me.
Wait, did we talk about that like off the
Yeah.
stream, like before it? Oh, we
Yeah, I think
did
we
have a
did.
conversation about that actually before we went live. We were kind of talking about like it's kind of hard to be like a full-time streamer of the game and also be a guild leader because you don't have a lot of time to do both. Like you're kind of like not half-assing, but you're not putting your full effort into either one if you're doing both. It's kind of hard to do. So that's like one downside to being a guild leader and a streamer of the game at the same time.
Yeah, like I mean, at least Jonah looks like he does it right. He's got like a few dudes in like a leadership position. It's not just him. They kind of run stuff, but
Well, as
yeah,
far as
it's
I know,
just-
Shadow's the like guild leader. Like I don't know. I don't want to speak for Wolfpack, but that's
yeah.
just what I
So
heard.
yeah, Shadow. I just know they have a bunch of like guys like that, right? Like Jonah, Shadow, all those guys that kind of run the thing. It's the same with content, right? They've got Fuss, they've got Fraka, they've got G Bunny. All kind of. You can't just lead it yourself. Like I couldn't do that because I'm not going to recruit anybody, right? I'm just going to be
Yeah.
like, hey, get on, let's go fight. So, okay, I got it all set up.
Alrighty. Let me.
This was good though.
get it
This was
running.
this is a nice little podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate you having you on, man. I know it was kind of last minute, and I'm glad you were able to make it. I think we had a pretty good talk, man. I'm gonna upload it and I'll send it to you later if you want to go back and watch it or anything. But thank you for coming on. And everyone, I'm gonna go raid his channel. He's going live right now. He's gonna do some murdering. So make sure you go support him, follow him, sub. And thank you again.
Thank you. That was nice.
All right, brother. I'll see you on your stream. Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Talk to you later.
All right. See you, man. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and start the raid. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. Much love. I keep hitting the wrong shit. Holy fuck. Hold on 1 second. I keep hitting video producer, not creator dashboard. So I'm trying to get to the raid option here. Let's see. Go. Boom. Start raid. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you, guys. Go enjoy your stream. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the questions. Love you all. See you guys in MO. Okay, boys? Have a good one.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud.